Okay, so our next task for Mobile Connect ring schedule, we're told to configure Mobile Connect so that Hurley's home phone is only rung during the hours of 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. Monday through Thursday. Configure it so that Hurley's mobile is only rung during the hours of 10 a.m. to 1600 or 4 p.m. Monday through Thursday. And we're told that Hurley's desk, home, and mobile phone are both or all in the Pacific Standard Daylight Time Zone, GMT-8. Then we're told to configure Mobile Connect so that Sawyer's mobile is only rung during the hours of 9 a.m. to 1700 Monday through Friday, and that his desk and mobile phone are both in the Central European Standard Daylight Time Zone, or GMT+1. Okay? So this is going to put us back at our, you can look at the remote destinations, and we see that we've got a Mobile Connect ring schedule per remote destination, not on the remote destination profile, because here we were told that let's go back to his home phone actually. Basically we're saying that if a call comes in from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. on Monday, Tuesday, so change this from all to as specified below, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. for that 1 hour, we should ring his home phone. Maybe he hasn't turned on his cell yet. Maybe he's an executive and he's still asleep. He doesn't have his mobile phone on, but if we need to wake him up, we can wake him up at his home. I don't know what the reason is, but that's what we're going to do. And the time zone is very important because we need to know what time to ring his phone local to where his phones are. Told it's Pacific Standard Daylight. Click Save. Now once we enable a ring schedule for a remote destination, we need to keep in mind that unless the local time of the CUCM server corresponds with the time that it should be rung, that we're no longer going to extend calls to these phones. So we need to keep in mind the local time of the CUCM server and the time zone that the remote destination is in, and then the actual time frame in that time zone that the remote destination is in. And we may need to adjust the CUCM server to accommodate testing to see if it works properly, and then change it back to see if it's working properly in both situations when it does and does not ring. We'll go to his mobile. We'll say Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday from, and I just like to use the keyboard, from 10 a.m. until, what do we say, 1600 hours? 10 a.m. until 1600, Monday through Thursday. Okay, and again, Pacific Standard Daylight. Good, those saved, update was successful. And we'll go back, and we're told that Sawyer's was 9 a.m. to 1700, Monday through Friday, not Thursday, and then it's in Central European Standard Daylight. Sawyer's mobile, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. 9 a.m. to 1700. Apparently Sawyer is not as high up as Hurley and has to work longer, more days, but isn't that life? So we change it, let's scroll down. There it is, Central European Standard Daylight. And update was successful. All the time frames are correct. Okay. So we've configured everything correct. Now let's go test it again. So let's call Hurley's phone first. Okay, so it's ringing one of his phones. I believe the top one was his mobile. It is his mobile. Oh, it says right there, Hurley's mobile. But it's not ringing the other line we can see right here. Okay, so everything's working proper. In terms of it ringing it, well, I guess let's see what time it is. So Hurley is at 10:53 a.m. What time it is local to the CUCM server. Hugo's in Pacific time zone. So let's go to the CUCM server, OS administration, change the time. We'll log in. First of all, that we're not on NTP. There are no NTP servers configured at the moment, so that's good. If there were, then we would either manipulate the NTP server, or what would be much better would just be to remove that NTP server and set the time manually. Back in later. So we're going to say that it's 9:54. Because from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. it should ring his home. Now, it's not going to show 9:54 immediately. If I reset the phone, it would, but it's going to take a little while to update. But the important thing is that it should ring properly. Desmond's phone. Hurley's home phone. Desk ones. Still ringing his mobile. Settings. Home. Have to restart the phone. There is no reset for the remote destination profile. Let's just reset so briefly. Got a few minutes. Local. Also possible that we have a database replication that is, or it's also possible that the time just hasn't synced from the pub to the. One way to be sure that we are not running into any issue like that is to just go to Unified Serviceability and Tools, Control Center Feature Services, go to the sub, and we'll simply power off for the moment. Switch off the CCM Cisco Call Manager service, not restart it, but just switch it off altogether. Now when this comes back, now we have 9:56 a.m. Probably didn't have to do with replication, although we could test that and certainly work on that. Let's not do that now, just as we wouldn't in the real lab, just to be sure that everything is working properly. Very well do just what we're doing right now. Shut off the sub, just for the moment. Back to the OS administration time. We've got a few minutes on the clock to test this. Try calling again. Home line.
Are you there?
and in fact it is ringing to his home line. So whether it was database replication, which we could fix later, or whether it was just that the time hadn't quite synced, which is my guess, we would do this real quick to test, make sure everything we're doing is working properly. So that's go. Let's just go a couple seconds in to 10, although it doesn't have to be exact. And update is successful, 1058. Started because of the time change. $10.58, which it is. Go ahead and try this again. Call from Desmond over to Hugo to Hurley. Now it's ringing Hurley's mobile phone. Right here, it's ringing his mobile phone. Okay, so everything works great there. Now, we actually should have stayed on OS administration, because we're going to need to change the time to test. Calling to Sawyer's phone. Out here in front, and we'll place the call from 3001 over to 3002. Rings once at the desk, and it does not ring out to the PSTN at all. That's because if it's, probably by the time I do a refresh, 11 a.m. Pacific time, and that's GMT -8, and Sawyer's phone is CET, GMT +1, that's a 9-hour difference, so it's, what, 12, 8, 9, 8 p.m. or 2000 hours. So it's way too late for that phone to ring. It was only supposed to ring till 1700 hours. So let's back it up. 2, 3, 4, 5, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So it should be about noon. Try this call again. Once, and there we go. Now we're ringing his mobile at noon. So the time is working properly. Time ring schedule. Now, or I believe had just switched to 11. Yep. Okay. Time schedule worked properly, and what we can do now, from now on when we want to test, and I'm going to go ahead and do this right now actually, is Hurley's mobile should work fine for the rest of this live demonstration, but his ring schedule for Sawyer's mobile is not because of the massive time zone difference. So This happens to be Tuesday. I'm just going to go ahead and click all day for Tuesday, and it's 9 local time, so this should work now just for testing everything else that we want to test, and then before we're done, we will actually go back and change this. So in the real lab, this would be a good idea rather than continuing to go, you do go test the changing the local system time, test your ring schedules initially, but then ultimately after you've tested them and you know that they work properly, then maybe go switch the day that you're on to all day on maybe all of your devices, at least for the ones that aren't going to ring. Hurley, I'm not going to switch it on to his mobile, or sorry, to his home, because at least his mobile will ring. So we do have a PSTN number that will ring. I might switch it onto his mobile, but we're within the hours, should work. So anyway, this is something that I would do in the lab, but I would make a note that I need to come back and uncheck this and change it to the proper hours, lest I forget and I lose all of the points for unified mobility, at least some of them if they happen to be broken down into multiple tasks, just because I forgot to change the ring schedule back because I was testing. Lab, they would change the actual time in order to test what they need to test. Okay, so this essentially concludes this task, and we've set everything up and tested it properly.